Hey everybody, it's Linda with Stamping School. This week I've got 16 colors to show you and some comparisons. And I know everybody's doing comparisons right now of the cardstocks, but I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to compare inks because I feel like what happens is we keep our ink pads forever, but then we don't have the cardstock to go with it. So with all of these new colors coming out, there are 16 altogether. There may be some things that you don't have to purchase new ink pads for, but you can get the papers and they will coordinate. So my goal going into this new catalog is that I give you some good information so you can spend your money wisely and not just buy everything, and it might duplicate some things that you already have. So let's see how that works out. There are 5 new in colors. Those are the ones that change out every 2 years. So these will be the 2023 to 2025 colors. And then 4 new core colors, which are in our 4 color groups, the brights, regals, subtles, neutrals, and 7 returning colors that were favorites, and those will kind of filter into those core colors. Before I show you all of that, I want to show you something very cool, the new markers. These are just the new water-based markers, the Stampin' Write markers, they call them. They're different than the alcohol blends. These are just the regular ones, but they redesigned the tip. And let me show you the difference. Hoping you can see this really well. Look at this. This is the old one, or the current one actually, but these are the new ones coming out. And it's like a bullet tip. These were tricky. Sometimes they work, sometimes they didn't. You stored them on their side, you had to shake it down and store them in a cup upright if you were gonna write for a while. So I'm very, very excited about these. So this is what it looks like when you write. It's a little bit smaller. This one is the original. And then this one, look at this. They're amazing. They're gonna be so nice for coloring. Really nice, firm bullet tip. Okay, so that's what the new markers look like. The other thing I wanted to show you, when you get your new ink pads, and a lot of you already know this, but if you're new to Stampin' Up, you might not know that the stickers for the back of the pads, if you want to use them, are back here. So if you take off this little liner, I just take this thing off and it's sticky. Now there's names in different countries, but there's this one for me in English, and then this one that's plain. So I take this one, that's the name, and I'm gonna put it right here, just like that. And then the solid one, I've seen people put them right here, which is fine. I actually like it right to the inside, right here. So I take off the solid one, and that will go, I need another hand. It'll go right inside here in this little channel. So when my ink pad is open and like this on the table, I know what color it is. So just for those who didn't know that. So let's take a look at these 5 in colors. And let me show you what I was talking about by the ink comparisons. So Pebble Path is this great, very neutral, very on trend, grayish, got a touch of brown in there. You can see this is basic gray, one of our colors, gray granite, tip top taupe, and this is the Pebble Path. This is the new one. So you can kind of see the difference. It's definitely warmer. So what I did was I took these inks that I still had, like this one's retired, Tip Top Taupe. I said, could we get away with using that together? Not really. It's kind of, this is kind of cool or something. It's a different tone. But if you look at gray granite looks pretty good with that. So if you, in a pinch, you wouldn't have to get this ink pad. You could get the Pebble Path paper, or what I would suggest, get an assortment pack of the new ink colors so you can play with them all. I think there's 2 sheets of each color or something. And it's a nice assortment of all these 5 colors. But I would be happy with that. You know, stamping the gray granite with the Pebble Path. Espresso's a little weird. Pebble Path, of course, is spot on, and Basic Gray is a little off. So in a pinch, you could definitely do gray granite, which is still a current color, and look how they layer together. So that's something else that they consider when they're picking all these colors. You know, how do they 2-step together? And I would definitely layer those together and would think you could get away with the gray granite ink on this one. Okay, the next one is beautiful. It's called Copper Clay. It's a beautiful, rusty, almost a touch of pink in there. Let me show you the differences of all these that I thought might match it and they didn't. Look at all these old ones. Look at really rust. Cajun Craze is still current, and then Copper Clay, that's the new one. Look at the differences in those. But if you didn't want to buy the new ink pad, you can get away with Cajun Craze ink with Copper Clay, I think. Terracotta is a little weird. I didn't have the other ones, but I think you could get away with Cajun Craze. And for instance, this is a Cajun Craze sentiment that I stamped, Cajun Craze ink, on the Copper Clay. I'm like, that's pretty good. I would do that. So again, if you didn't want to get the Copper Clay, if you already had the Cajun, you didn't want to add more, then this works. I think you could get away with that. There's a few that, honestly, I couldn't find a good comparison with, so I'm not going to do this with every one, but those two, I think you could get away with. Boho Blue. This is one that I had trouble with. I'm not going to lie. This was like a weird blue that I couldn't find a good match for. That's Boho Blue. It's got a little purple in it. Like Seaside Spray is a little bit lighter. If you still had that one, that retired. If you still had that, that works pretty good. There wasn't a lot of them that worked. That one is a lot lighter, but they do look really nice together. Balmy Blue, ugh. Bashful Blue, these are all retired. Marina Mist, ugh. And this one I didn't know was Buckaroo Blue or Blue Bayou. I don't know. And then Brocade Blue, which would seem like an obvious choice, but it wasn't. But there wasn't a really great ink that went with these. So I say you might need Boho Blue. It's just sort of this dusty, almost a country blue from back in the 80s, the country color. And speaking of the 80s, we have Moody Mauve. I don't know why they named it mauve. If there's any color that reminds me of the 80s, I mean, mauve is just, but it's on trend. It's everywhere. You go into the stores, tops, comforters, everything, it's back. So here we go. I'm going to learn to love it. This is what the ink looks like, which is really pretty. A good ink, if you still have it, is the Sweet Sugar Plum that retired. That one looks really good with it. Let me show you. Look at them together. If you still have Sweet Sugar Plum ink, you could make this work. It's very, very pretty together. Rococo Rose, meh. I mean, it's okay. It sort of has two different temperatures to me. I don't think it looks great. So I would say no on Rococo Rose. Razzleberry, ugh, no. Primrose Petals, no. But if you had the fig, fresh fig, remember that one? It's a lot darker, but it's the same like hues or family. I mean, fresh fig ink would be a lot darker, but it would be beautiful with the Moody Mauve. So I would say if you have Sugar Plum, you'll be fine. It's just a little bit lighter. Moody Mauve, of course, is spot on. And if you're doing something big and graphic like flowers, you might want to get it. That's something to play with. We're going to learn to love mauve. For 2 years anyway. The last in color is Wild Wheat. Such a weird color, but it is everywhere. There are even, I saw a room painted in this color. It was a lot, I'm not going to lie. It's not my favorite yet, but I'll work on it. Here's what the ink looks like. Wild Wheat. Hello Honey was decent with it. Starfruit is the next best thing. If you have the old summer Starfruit ink, you can get away with that. Look at these two together. This is retired, of course. But if you have the ink, I think you could do something with that. Honey was off. Dijon was way off on those. But these two worked well together. So, of course, some of you are going to get all the inks anyway. I love you for that. But, you know, we're working through all these colors. Here's an example of some paper that's coming out in the annual catalog. It came in my pre-order. Just to give you an example, you know, how all these colors kind of work together. Like this is stamped in the Pebble Path. I've got the wheat, I've got the boho blue, but you can kind of see how they kind of all work together. Kind of interesting. And this paper, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I think I'm just going to cut them all apart. I don't know, but they're not all like that. Look at that. Whoa! All right. You can see these colors working together. There's a little indigo in there. There's your mauve right there. This one's pretty. That's that boho blue, which you would swear is like a ballet blue or something, but it's not. Let's see. So very interesting paper. And the back just has all these really great washed backgrounds, which are really nice. So those are the 5 new in colors. Now let's do the 11 that are coming into the core. Get a cup of coffee. We'll do blues first. Misty Moonlight came back. Everybody loved Misty Moonlight. It was that great blue. It's not too dark blue. It's just right. It's so pretty. Here's the Misty Moonlight cardstock. Midnight Muse looks great with it. That's retired if you have it. Navy looks really wonderful with it. Not quite navy. Not quite. It doesn't look very good with it. But navy looks really great with it for a sentiment and blue. Dapper Denim looks decent. Misty Moonlight and Navy, I would say, are like the best ones for inks to use with this one. So a lot of you already have this one. And here we have Azure Afternoon. This is brand new. And I had a hard time finding a good match on this one. Even the old Ballet Blue was way off. Tempting Turquoise, not even close. So Azure Afternoon, not Azure, Azure. By the way, as I was looking for cardstock colors, look at this. This is from my friend Jan. This is probably back, I don't know, 2008? I don't know. Look how funny. It's been fun searching for colors. It just took me all day looking for all these ink colors. But for Azure Afternoon, Tahitian Tide, way off. I didn't have Ballet Blue. Pacific Point, turquoise, no. I couldn't find one that really worked well with this cardstock. So my vote, get the Azure Afternoon. I couldn't find anything that was compatible enough to make it work. So in a pinch, you could do navy, like for a sentiment. It's pretty. I like it. All right, Hot Pink is back. This is like a pinky purple. Berry Burst is back. This was an in color. There's some good inks that work with this one. Rose Red, no. Raspberry Ripple, Lovely Lipstick. Magenta Madness, which is really cool together. Those look nice together. These are all retired. Melon Mambo is current, but look how different it is. Yikes. All right, so Rose Red ink, no. Here's the Berry Burst ink. Magenta Madness, if you still had that one. I also think Purely Pomegranate, but I didn't have that pad. That's an old one. That might really work. Lovely Lipstick did not work. So Magenta was really the best one for the Berry Burst. Rich Razzleberry was decent. You could get away with Rich Razzleberry, which retired also. So we're glad Berry Burst is back. It's a nice, happy color. These two I'm going to show together because they really do go together. This one, Fresh Freesia, was our in color in the last 2 years, and it's continuing on. It's going to carry on. That's Freesia. And then Bubble Bath is a new pink, which has a lot of purple in it. It's very purpley pink. That's going to be our new light pink. I don't know if it's really a baby pink. It could be, but it has more purple in it than I would think of for a very light pink. So let me show you how they look together. So Freesia looks great with Bubble Bath. Again, they look at those two-stepping possibilities when you do two-step flowers or layering. Those two look great together, and they're both in the new annual catalog. But let me show you the other pinks that did not look good with this. Look. We've got Powder Pink, Pink Pirouette, and Blush Blossom. Those are all retired, and none of those look good with this. None of them. So this might be one, if you're going to be using the Bubble Bath, use the Fresh Freesia ink, or just get the new Bubble Bath ink pad if you're going to be using those, because there really was no good comparison. I thought about Mauve Mist, but I didn't have any of that. That might be close. It was kind of pinky purple like that one. That's really old. I think that came in my starter kit in 1999. All right, we'll head into the blues and greens. Blueberry Bushel came back. This is an oldie but goodie. I love it. So they retired Pacific Point this year and brought back Blueberry Bushel. And you can see why. It's a real true blue. It's just, this one was nice, but people want a primary blue, and this one is really good. Now, old Brilliant Blue. Look at the difference. Look at this card. This is Nancy Giuliano. I kept your swap all these years. I think this is 15 years old. Back when we used to have a Colossal. Remember those little, you cut through the stencil? Look at that, cool. Anyway, I kept this for the color, Brilliant Blue, because I didn't have the cardstock, but that's pretty. And then Starry Sky is more purple. Night of Navy is darker, obviously. So if you want inks, if you didn't keep the Blueberry Bushel from years ago, maybe if you're just doing sentiments, Navy's okay. Pacific Point is just weird with it. I don't have a good replacement for that one. You have to get the pad on this one. But it's pretty. It's a really pretty blue. Lost Lagoon came back. We like it. This was just a beautiful color. There's an old card sample of mine. Okay, Lost Lagoon. A good ink to go with it is Tranquil Tide. That's really the best one going. There was a Baja Blue that might have been close, but I couldn't find it. But Tranquil Tide, if you want to go a little darker, that works really, they work great together. Those look really nice. Soft Succulent was way off. So Lost Lagoon is a good one. That's going to be a good staple for us. Pretty Peacock came back. That was really, really popular. We're excited about that one. That's what Island Indigo looks like, that retired, and Dapper Denim. So you can see the differences, the green to the blues. So here's Pretty Peacock, the ink. Tranquil Tide is close. It's off a little though. It is off. But the Island Indigo, you could maybe make it work. Dapper Denim was way off. If you didn't keep Pretty Peacock back when it was around, I'd say get this one. It's especially pretty at the holidays with silver and gold and coppers. It's a beautiful color. I'm all in. I kind of would prefer Island Indigo, but I'll take Peacock. Now we're going into the greens and the yellows. Lemon Lime Twist is returning. This is a bright, bright green. And our in colors right now, we have Parakeet. And those are a little at odds there. However, if you have the Parakeet Party ink, you could make this work. The ink with this cardstock. You could definitely do that. So if you already have Parakeet Party, which is our in color now, that works with this cardstock, Lemon Lime Twist. Granny Apple works. In fact, look at these together. Again, they're two-stepping. They're thinking two-stepping a pretty leaf, you know, or you stamp the outline in the Granny Apple, you stamp the inside with the Lemon Lime Twist, and it makes a really pretty variegated leaf. Those look beautiful together. Old Olive is a little clashy, but it works. This is the Old Kiwi Kiss. My vote is the Granny Apple Green, which is current. So those will be current together. Look at this sample I found while I was digging through things looking for colors in the Old Kiwi Kiss. I can't believe the birdseed's still in there. I don't know what year I made this. It was a long time ago. And the birdseed's still there. Okay, so Lemon Lime Twist. You can make Parakeet Party work. You can use Granny Apple with it. If you want to layer the colors together, citrusy like that, then you might want to get it. This one is interesting. This is a brand new color. This is Lemon Lolly. Nothing like it. I could find nothing like it. Nothing else works with it. This is a color all by itself. This is really a fun color. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but I'm definitely going to get some. Look at the differences. Saffron, daffodil, and pineapple. It's just, you know what it reminds me of? Is lemon icing on a cake or a cupcake. That's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of frosting. They could have called it lemon frosting, but they like to use the same letters, so lemon lolly. But I could find nothing that works with this for inks. It's a very soft yellow. Saffron is horrible with it. Daffodil, ugh. And I tried curry, and so that's the pineapple punch. Nothing. You're going to have to get this one. Unless you just stick with daffodil, but I couldn't find anything. The last one is pecan pie. I found a lot of substitutes for this one, actually. Here's the cardstock. This is going to be a great cardstock for fall. I'm sure we'll use it other than that, but, you know, it kind of reminds me of fall. All right, so here's the ink. I like, let's see, I think you could do cinnamon cider as an alternate ink with pecan pie. Look at that. The cardstock doesn't match up well. And this is why I'm testing inks and not just cardstock, because I feel like there's just a slight difference, right? Especially when you put it on white or something. Cinnamon cider works with that. I could do that. I could also do baked brown sugar with it. I could do soft suede, but of course it's not as good. All right, here's soft suede. That just retired. Baked brown sugar. See, when you do just the cardstocks, yeah, they're very different. But do the ink. You could totally get away with those two. Cinnamon cider and baked brown sugar. You could totally get away with those, I think. I mean, obviously this matches perfectly. You have to make that decision, but you could get away with those. Now this pad of paper was on my pre-order. I'll show it to you quickly so you can kind of get an idea. Look at all these pretty colors together. It's going to be a bright and happy year of colors. Look at this. Aren't they so pretty? Look at all of them together. So 10 of the new colors are in here. Lemon Lolly, Lemon Lime Twist, Lost Lagoon, Pretty Peacock, Azure Afternoon, Moonlight Mist, there's a little navy right there, Berry Burst, Bubble Bath, and Fresh Freesia. Woo! All right, thanks for sticking with me. I hope this helped you make good decisions when you get that new catalog. Demonstrators are receiving theirs this week, I imagine. Customers are going to get theirs next week, hopefully by the third week of April. And we'll see you next week. See it, learn it, stamp it.